I'm Roger Urbaniak with Roger's Outdoor Channel. You know, with the hope that I can entice you to spend more time outdoors and enjoy that time out there, I'm going to introduce an activity that might be new to some of you, but maybe just a reminder to others on while you're out there. You know, you can bring along some fairly easy to carry things that will, you know, when you've got time on your hands, give you a little exercise and a little activity to participate in. Two of that I want to talk about today. You know, maybe fly a kite, go to places that you can just, they have kite festivals down in Longview, Washington, or actually Long Beach, rather. You know, where you go on the ocean shores, and in the late summer they have these festivals where you'll see just hundreds of kites in the air at one time of all different designs, etc. And bring your own kite down there. I've got a little article attached to you know, my this particular video in my companion articles thing that will give you some of the details of where you might go to enjoy flying a kite. But the Frisbee is probably the more interesting thing that I wanted to talk about today. Frisbees are, you know, most of you have seen what they're like, this little disc. And they come, there's modifications, there's 60 different companies that make slightly different designs of them for certain games that they'll play, like this one's for Ultimate Frisbee, kind of like a football game that they play. You know, they've got, you know, Frisbee golf. They've got, you know, the Frisbee has adapted into a number of different uses. It's a very practical thing for, you know, just carrying something. I mean, this takes up no space, you know, and yet you toss it to a friend and they catch it and they run with it and toss it back, or you toss it to your dog and you see him leap in the air. I mean, it's really a lot of enjoyment in that. So I kind of thought to myself, you know, geez, well, who invented the Frisbee? Well, you know, I decided, okay, I'm interested. So I looked it up on the internet. It's a guy by the name of Walter Morrison. He came up with the idea to market it basically in the late 1940s. I mean, the Frisbee, you know, having a disc, you know, a disc-shaped object has been around for centuries. You know, the Chinese, you know, used to have them. The Greeks used to have them. Use them in warfare. They used to use them in sporting competitions. You know, throwing a disc of some sort. But our current, you know, what the model that we actually have named a Frisbee didn't really come about until the 1940s through the 1960s. It was kind of an evolution that when Morrison first, you know, he and his wife were throwing the top of a popcorn box, you know, back and forth, and they got the idea that, you know, hey, this is kind of fun. You know, let's see if we can find other things that we can that sail a little bit. And they came up with this Frisbee pie company metal plate that they would toss, and that really sailed pretty good, you know. So they kind of thought about that, and you know, for a little while, and he eventually sat down and talked to a manufacturer to you know, come up with a polypropylene design, plastic design of our current you know, disc-shaped you know, Frisbee. And he started, he took on a partner, and they would go to county fairs, mostly in California, you know, market these things at the county fairs, and sold quite a few of them. And you know, that it just, the whole concept of throwing these discs was really catching on about that time. A number of Eastern colleges were throwing this, you know, I think the Frisbee, or I mean the Frisbee Pie Company, you know, was back in Massachusetts, and some of the fraternities back there on campuses started using their pie plates and sailing them around and making little sports and competitions, and Morrison kind of picked up on that, and that's about when he decided to go with his plastic design rather than the metal, and popularize it. Back in the he actually started commercially marketing them late 50s, 57, 58, and at that time they sold for 25 cents each. On the beaches of California, they're real popular on going to the beach in California. You could pick them up pretty cheap and have fun with them back then. So he was around. Another bigger company started watching all this, the Wham-O company, and in the late or early 60s, they decided, well, hey, maybe we can do something with this. So they had a guy, Ed Kerr, I think his name was, kind of took what Morrison had come up with his design and made a little bit better ridges on the bottom of these things that stabilized it in flight better and gave it more ability to turn and be controlled, and they kind of used their marketing skills of a bigger company to come up with games to play it at. This Frisbee, Ultimate Frisbee was almost an invention of theirs, along with the the actual design of the disc, and they patented it, both, and they really took off. And Ultimate Frisbee, I've got a nephew or two of mine that play it, and it's not only played in most states around the country, but it's actually, one of my nephews says, yeah, I've actually gone overseas and played it in tournaments over there or competitions over there. And the same with Frisbee golf. I mean, that's laid out fairly simple in terms of the rules and etc. that you can almost make your own golf course. You don't have to pay big fees to do it. And Ultimate Frisbee, more played on park, big open parks like soccer would be, fields, open fields concept. So, those are a few of the basic, there's 7 or 8 games. If you read my article that's attached to it, I go into a little bit more detail of the research of all the games that I've, that people have talked about, and all the uses too. I mean, this Frisbee, people have used it, their dogs, to play games with their dogs. If there's snow on the ground, some of the smaller dogs actually use this for a sled, going down a hill. You can use it as a rain cap. You use it as a canoe paddle. You can use it as a store things that might, like marbles and round things that would roll around. You've got a container that would hold them. People have planted plants in there. Use it as a watering dish for your pet when you're on a trip. Again, these things pack in virtually no space at all. So just having one in your trunk is it's kind of like having a pair of pliers and a screwdriver in case something goes wrong with the car. I mean, just having this is a practical way to enjoy the day. If you good time to take a little break. It gives you some exercise, builds your hand-eye coordination, and you bring it out when you're in a campground in your RV. You'd be surprised how quickly people will kind of start flocking around. Can I play too? And you meet people that way, and just have fun. That's what these things are for. So things like having your own, kite to fly, Frisbee to handle. They get you outdoors, and they give you an opportunity to enjoy being outdoors more. And if you happen to see me nearby, don't forget to wave, but toss me a Frisbee along the way. See if I can catch it. I know a thing or two about throwing these things. So anyway, hope you enjoy it, and these things are not too expensive even today. They started out at $0.25. I can still find them for $1. Some designs, there's like 60 manufacturers currently that have slightly different designs. When Whammo eventually, I think they sold out a few years back to Mattel company, Mattel Toy Company. And when they did, when Mattel, for the 10 years or 20 years that they ran it, they sold over 100 million of these things. Right now, worldwide, there's been well over 200 million of these Frisbees that are out in circulation that, you know, people enjoy these things, you know, and if you don't have one or two or three or four, go get them. You know, they're fun. Anyway, hope to see you outdoors. If you see me, don't forget to, again, wave and throw a Frisbee at me.